Hello from downtown. I'm Doc Slavkowski, and this is the Art Zone. We're at J.R. Kortman Center for Design. A graphic artist from the Rockford Register-Star focuses his talent on fine art. We'll talk with artist Keith Grace. After that, we'll pay a visit to the Riverfront Museum Park and speak with Ron Schulz of Storefront Cinema. Then from classical ballet to modern jazz, we'll highlight two prominent dance groups in Rockford, the Rockford Dance Company and Without Shoes.
I've been working with the Rockford Register-Star since 1984, and I started out part-time working in their graphics department. And when I started, I did a lot of illustration work, and a couple years after I was there, the Macintosh computers came in, and the big trend in the newspaper industry was computer graphics, information graphics. So everything was produced on the computers themselves, and illustration kind of took a back seat. I started painting probably about 6 years ago. I needed the creative outlet that I had when I was working at the newspaper doing illustration. I accepted the Macintosh computer because it was a fun tool, but you could only do so much with it at that time. And so I just started painting, and one of the techniques that I really enjoyed in college was dry brush oil, and that's the technique that I've used for this show and previous shows. This is a lot more personal. This is from the heart. This is me. As I'm working on one painting, I'm thinking of another. I plan several in advance. I dream a lot and come up with ideas that way, and I'm always very anxious to get working on a new piece. A lot of my work represents, well, actually all my work recently has had figures in them. The reference material that I use are from 1930s magazines. I really kind of like the glamour and style of the 30s. I will blow up the area that I really like, or I'll cut the person in half, or I'll cut the top of their head off, or I'll shadow their face in, or at least part of their body or part of the face is not seen. They're forced really to make up a story or to finish the story. They look at a person and they'll have to use their imagination to figure out what the rest of their body looks like, what the detail of their face looks like. So it's not all right there. They really have to use their imagination. What I'll do is I'll start with a basic, piece of reference, whether it's a magazine ad or a magazine photo, and I'll change it to what I want it to be. And a lot of the backgrounds you see will be a lot more contemporary. A lot of them will include like checkerboards and patterns of, leopard and zebra, and then really kind of wild washes and everything. And that's the real contemporary images that I really care for. So I kind of combine the two. This is Keith Grace's work.
Heretical handstands and brazen looks in front of a speed graphics. Angst-ridden rebels chase love, and is it still free? Social position, inclination, you're lost in them stars as you cry in your cappuccino, hotboxing nicotine sticks. Chain-smoking speed dimming, you're all built to fast, in Gandhi khakis and bare-floored rooms. Grow your sideburns long, tout the latest post-World War I hero, incandescent, no, candlelight, while neon is your favorite mood. Or maybe you'll have your doer's profile plastered in the he-she room. But for Doc Martin's strolling feet, that may be too much ground to travel. Jack Kerouac penned The Birth of God. He has the curse that plagues every writer since and then. He's dead. Now that's called a real writer's block. By the dawn's burning light, I see all the wasted ones in bed by 10, given up and tied up by the ropes they're given. One by land and two by sea, we made disposable jokes with our lives instead of eternal flame, caught up in the sins of our father's sins, flash in the pan, but maybe that's all we're ever meant to be. Thank you.
I'd say our statement of purpose is to bring the types of film to Rockford that wouldn't be brought here in a conventional way. The types of films that aren't really attractive to mainstream movie theaters. It also means, in a sense, that they're also not attractive to mainstream audiences. Particular foreign films that are subtitled are often not appealing because there's a lot of film goers that don't want to work a lot to watch a film. Film is a form of entertainment, and if you have to watch what's on the screen and then read what's on the screen, that's work. Storefront opened up in December of 1983, and the earliest individuals who wanted to bring this type of a theater to Rockford also wanted to have more things to do on East State Street. So the intent was to have a theater downtown, and specifically on East State in the downtown area. And it opened up in a storefront, and hence the name Storefront Cinema. It was a 49-seat theater running strictly 16-millimeter productions, and stayed there till the late 80s. It's nice to have the cooperations of the other arts groups. It's nice to be involved with the Rockford Park District. It's a great place to come down to. We think it's a great place to watch film. Parking is usually a breeze down here. There's security in the building. And as the Rockford newspaper says, we have killer popcorn. So, I'd say yes. It's been a good move for us to be here. It's certainly been helped us in the security area. It's helped us with the pooling of resources and even volunteers at times. Being part of First Night is just a remarkable experience to come down and see this building come alive and be a part of those really nice events that ties everybody together. The attraction of coming to the theater, whether it's an independent situation like we have here, or even something that's much more state-of-the-art like a Dolby Stereo 70-millimeter theater in Chicago, I think we're all hurt by the fact that it's so easy to stay at home and still get an essence of the film. It's never the same experience. So you can talk to people who will go see a film that has a lot of special effects, and they'll see it in 70-millimeter and Dolby Stereo, and they're really caught into the action because the suspension of disbelief is so much greater. The bigger the image, the more the audience is drawn into the film. As soon as you get it on a TV screen, people look at it and will say, I don't even know if that's the same film I saw. Well, it isn't the same film. In a sense, it's a different film experience, even though it may be the same pictures in a sense. It's really different. Well, the things that we'd like to do is, this auditorium, of course, hinders us greatly. We need to deaden the noise in here. We need to get acoustical paneling on the walls. We need to get acoustical paneling on the ceiling. We could use a second speaker. We can upgrade our 16 millimeters. We'd like to get 16 millimeters that use an arc instead of just the standard incandescent bulb that we're using right now, and that would increase the brightness of the image 3 times. We don't deal directly with the studio. We deal with a film library, kind of a middle person, so to speak, and advertising that we do is all on our own. Everything that we basically do to promote film comes from us, and whatever ways we can do to generate interest in a film.
Look, Daddy, I painted you a picture. I worked on it for hours. Yes, Daddy, I know it isn't perfect. Listen, Daddy, I sang you a song. Wasn't it beautiful? Yes, Daddy, I know I was a little off-key. Come here, Daddy, I wrote you a poem. It's the best I've ever written. I know, all the words don't rhyme. Oh, Daddy, what else do you want me to do? I'd climb a mountain for you. Of course, Daddy, I know. I know I'd never make it to the top.
The mission of the Rockford Dance Company is to provide the Rockford region with performance, productions, presentations, and education in dance. We have been around for 20 years. Next season, 1993-94, will be our 20th anniversary season. It was founded in 1973 by Jane Poor and Chuck Haynes, who were the original artistic directors, as a performing outlet for local talent. Jane and Chuck would bring in master teachers from the Chicago area, so the dancers would have the opportunity to study with professionals in the field, and it grew from being that kind of local group into a real performing organization. 2.5 years ago, when the Riverfront Museum Park opened and we moved in here, we called this home, where we have 5 dance studios for our classes and for our school, for rehearsal space, storage space for our costumes and sets. 1983, the school of the Rockford Dance Company came into existence to train dancers in the classical style, so that there would be always a pool of good dancers, of well-trained dancers. And since we've moved in here, our studios are sometimes full, where there are 5 classes going on at the same time, from baby ballerinas in their little pink leotards and tights all the way through adults. So it has really grown tremendously since the Riverfront Museum Park came into existence. Not only are we a performance organization and do these wonderful productions, but we're very interested in providing dance education for the entire community, and we bring in performing groups. For 2 years ago, we brought in Moon 2, the African Dance Theater from Chicago. Last year, it was Ensemble Espanol, so that we can provide different dance opportunities for the Rockford community. We have a scholarship program in place, so that if there are any little dancers that come recommended by teachers, the Kappa program, someone will say, you know, this child could really do well if they had some good dance training, and we can step in there and help. We have, with the Discovery Center and the Art Museum, we sponsor a Camp Collage, which is a week-long camp for underserved children in the community, where they come and have visual arts, drama, music, and dance. And so it's a total dance experience. And because we're here in this building and can see each other on a daily basis, it makes the planning for those kind of programs very easy. And those are the things that we're interested in doing, is more of that community outreach. In our display case, we have just put in a display of the Rockford Dance Company's trip to Shenyang, China, which took place in September of 1992. That came to be because of Joy's friends at the Chinese consulate in Chicago had invited the Rockford Dance Company to perform for the Chinese New Year. The consulate general has a huge banquet for the Chinese community at that time. And we attended, were very well received. We performed the Red Ribbon Dance, which is a traditional Chinese folk dance Joy had taught to the girls when she first came here. We were a little nervous about these American girls performing this dance for a Chinese audience, and they loved it. So a few weeks later, we received a phone call from the cultural council in Chicago asking if we'd be interested in attending a dance festival in Shenyang in September. And we said, oh, gee, that sounds nice, thinking this is a little out of reach for us at the time. He sent our videotapes and pictures onto Shenyang, and we received a formal invitation to attend as guests of the government of Shenyang. It was a wonderful opportunity for Joy to share her culture with our dancers. And she has learned so much from us, and now the girls had the opportunity to learn from her.
Art director is the big job, and she or he here need to do the choreography for the rest of the show, for performance. Then you need to design costumes and what kind of scenery, those things for yourself. Got the first idea, and also you need to give the dancers good training, classical ballet training first. Then you need to spend more time to do the rehearsal, set up your did choreography in all the combination. Then you need to respond to all the performance for yourself and create how the people work with you. I was started to take the ballet lessons 4 years old. And that was my parents bring me to see the major production Swan Lake from the Russian group, and they just did a wonderful job. And after I see the performance, I just said, Mom, I want to be ballerina. So company class is 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Also, I teach the dancing school ballet 3 and ballet 5 level. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
How would someone go about becoming a member of the Rockford Dance Company?
Well, they need an audition for every year, and we open the audition for public, and in the August, start the beginning, the season is September. So they need certainly the quality, for the dance background, then they will be the company member. Dance company, there was 10 members. Then every year so they changed because some of the dancers, they finished the high school and they need to go to another state or some of the university, the college, so they will leave. Then we need more fresh and blood coming to the dance company. And I think the Rock Dance Company is lucky have the more space here because in the Chicago, even the Ballet Chicago company, the artist director, and he went to here, he just said, whoa, Joy, you have those so wonderful studio. They don't have, even the professional dance company, they don't have. We have the 5 studio. Yes, and when the first time, you went over there, is a company class is the biggest studio. Then we have here is a small one, then we have the other one is small, just next to another door. Then we have the another 2, just a regular the size for the first floor. When the first years I started a dance company, before they don't really hiring the full-time the artistic director. So actually they not really have the full company member is really good training. So I started, like a beginning, and give them more the training. So now the company is developing more. For the after 5 or 6 years, I like to see Rock Dancing Company have the full company member who is professional dancers. Keep the smaller group, they can performing some more, and they can tour more, and they can do the reach out program more.
Without Shoes is a modern dance company that began at Rockford College about 9 or 10 years ago. And basically our function is to promote modern dance and keep it growing through the community, educating. We perform a couple of times a year.
And how do you differ, let's say, from the Rockford Dance Company?
Well, the Rockford Dance Company is basically a ballet company. That is their basic emphasis. And then they have a little bit of modern, a little bit of jazz. Ours is strictly modern. I mean, modern dance in being that it's a culmination of all the other styles put together and sort of taken and made each person's personal style. You know, you put yourself into modern dance, your feelings, your emotions. We are basically called Without Shoes because modern dance is done with bare feet as opposed to wearing point shoes or ballet shoes. We try to take modern dance wherever we can. We've performed down here at the mall, we've performed at community centers, we've performed in parks, we have performed in all the festivals at Mississippi Park and the Waterfront Festival. And then we perform on stage wherever we can. We usually have an annual concert at Rockford College, but we have danced here at NAT before as well.
And,
Yeah, we do invite other dancers to be involved. When Without Shoes first started, it was basically a place to give older dancers a chance. Most of the dancers that are dancing are all college graduates. Some went to Rockford College or have some type of affiliation with Rockford College, maybe teaching there or taking some part-time classes. We do have auditions. We've been adding more people to our board of directors. We have been looking for more dancers. We've been trying to have more of a community outreach. This past winter we started out with a newsletter that comes out 4 times a year so we can broaden our mailing list and get modern dance out to more people. I think we've really come a long way in just the past year. A lot of things have changed and developed, so I really feel we're headed in a real good direction.
and what is that direction? Tell me a little bit more about what are your plans for the future?
We would like to increase our company, you know, get a few more members in there. We're going to be doing a lot of outreach into the schools. We've started working on a lecture demonstration where we got a grant from the Rockford Arts Council, and it's basically to include arts and dance education into the regular curriculum. One of the big things going on in Illinois right now is trying to get more of the arts into the academic curriculums, especially dance and theater and the types of arts that have been passed over. So we sort of are providing that service in that we're trying to help educate regular academic teachers on how they can use dance to, add on to their regular curriculum. Rockford is a town that has to sort of have the arts spoon-fed to them. And so, it'd be nice if a few more people were there to partake of it. So I think with more people moving into the area from Chicago or different cities, people who are used to having a cultural environment, they're sort of encouraging that. So I feel it is growing in that way.
I schedule the rehearsals, run the rehearsals, make the necessary administrative decisions that need to be made. Because we're a small company, our board of directors is a support board at this point. It's not like a larger company where they actually are a decision-making body. We're still we work collectively in that. We'll discuss things and come to group decisions, but basically it lies in the hands of the artistic director and the executive director. I would like to see the company bring itself to a real professional performance level, to have choreography set on the company of a higher caliber than we're used to. I would like us to maintain our place as an educational company in the community, where we continue to go into schools and work with children, and especially those that don't have access to the arts as readily as other children. We do quite a bit of work in community centers over the summer. I would like us to be the modern dance company in Rockford. I think things could be much better. I think that a lot of people are very surprised that Without Shoes has been in existence as long as it has been, which is 9 years. Usually we get very positive feedback once people see us perform or attend one of our functions. They like what they see. They wonder where we've been or why they haven't heard of us before. I think we can improve upon that in making ourselves more public. That takes a little bit of, I think you have to toot your own horn in a way to get recognized. And the nature of artists in general is to have that humility and not want to have to say, oh, look what we're doing. But in a way, you almost have to do that to keep your audience and to keep your support. So you have to find that balance. I think it's great that there's a surgence of culture in Rockford, and I would like to commend the population. There is a population in Rockford that is very supportive of the arts. I think that, yes, we have been a part of that, and I hope we'll continue to be on the forefront of that. I think that the key is reaching a wider audience and making arts accessible. I think that there's this misconception that the arts are something that you have to, cosmically understand, and it's really not. We're regular people, and we just happen to love this form of artwork, and this is how a lot of us make our living. And it's, I don't know what else to say about it. I don't want to get into a big philosophical discussion on the meaning and why everybody should do this, but I think that there's something for everyone, really, especially in a company like Without Shoes, because we have a wide variety of styles, because they reflect each individual member of the company.